Hi, this is Irving Steele, your host of Local Issues, and really grateful today to have a new friend who's an amazing actor in the community, Len. Welcome to the show, Len. How are you?
Uh, Lovely. Thanks for having me.
Of
This is great.
course. So I couldn't believe it when I first saw you out there practicing See How They Run, which is starting the end of July, I believe, right?
Hmm.
And it goes into August. It's over at Under the Shell in Niantic. And you have an amazing career, you're working hard, but then you have this whole acting side of yourself as well.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did that start?
How did it start? Purely by accident. I've always enjoyed theater. I've been doing theater since I was in preschool, where I played Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That's a nice
That
start.
was my debut. And all throughout, my education, I found some time to do theater on the side, but I made the decision to go into a technical field because that's the responsible thing to do. And after a 15-year career or so, a good friend of mine, Rich Springman, bought me Zoom lessons during the pandemic when we all had a little more time.
So actually a benefit of the pandemic, you were able to start taking these Zoom classes.
Yeah. Joyce Beauvais had some Zoom sessions, and I joined, and it was fun, and it kind of, I should find a way to fit this back in again. This is fun. And this is my third season with Joyce, and she's lovely, and I'm having a blast.
Yeah, she's an amazing director. I've been honored to work alongside her as well and just learn, trying to soak up through osmosis all the stuff that she's been doing for the last 30, 40 years too.
One of the things I admire about her is her ability to find talent in people that don't even know they have it and draw it out and use it to put together a magnificent show from a boring text on a page.
And that's so much of what a great director, a great leader is able to do, whether it's in the corporate setting or in a theatric setting, is kind of combining these disparate pieces and putting them together to make something much greater as a whole. And she's so good at that. What do you think it is that allows her to be able to do that?
Man, I've known Joyce for a couple years. I could take a guess at it, and that guess is that in being such an accomplished actor herself, a performer herself, she's learned those building blocks that she's used to make her own self successful, and in doing so has been able to kind of spot truth in other people that she meets. Like, oh, you'd be good at that kind of thing. You'd be good at that kind of thing. Oh, you just lack confidence. Let's give it to you and see what happens. So I guess her ability to effectively look at people's character and see what sometimes they can't.
And one thing I've noticed in the short time working with her as well is her constant ability to kind of build people up. That whether it's building up the confidence, but just being really sweet, really kind. And she'll be direct. She'll say, hey, you need to work on your pace. But she'll say in such a nice way that, sure, it's kind of harsh, but it's such a sweet way that you'll take the compliment, you'll take the feedback that way. And I think that's really helpful. And you were mentioning a little bit too that the impact of some theatrical skills can apply in other parts of our lives. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So in a technical field, the usually performing arts is, that's something we don't, we're here to do finite element analysis. We're here to analyze this biological pathway for efficacy. But there are skills that apply in theater that really help in a technical professional career, particularly with regard to managing teams wherein you must have emotional control. Right? You can't pop off all the time and yell at people. You'll drive them away. You have to, essentially, you have to learn a character, and that character is a good boss. Play the good boss. Even if you're not inherently a good boss, play the good boss, and it will happen in time. Also, the ability to read a room, see if your message is sinking in, and effective development of messaging and narrative as you make requests of large organizations, be they management or regulatory, is also a very, very useful skill. I use it all the time.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I love to see too is it feels like there's more companies popping up that are teaching improv to corporate settings or teaching theater to corporates. And there's a huge overlap there that I feel like thinking on your feet, coming up with new ideas, innovation, creativity, all these things can really adapt and be applied to different settings.
Fantastic. I'm really glad to hear that.
And it's helpful too that without that, how can we come up with these new ideas? And so much of what we need to do, like you said, is kind of playing that part. And do you have any specific examples recently where you don't have to go into the details, but something that you felt like you needed to kind of take on this new part in a role that you were playing?
With regard to how theater helped in something professional?
Exactly.
Sure. I think the best theater, the best acting is to encapsulate fundamental human truth and share it, right? If that truth is hilarity, if it's catharsis, if it could be any of the human emotions, but to find a way to capture it, bottle it, and share it. It also, which means that you have to be able to sense and communicate truth. Solving complex engineering problems has very, very much to do with finding truth and sharing it. There are, when you have a very complex problem divided up amongst people who are stakeholders in a solution, don't always communicate, and you are the one that's attempting to bring everyone to the table and come up with something that will make something undesirable go away, it's very useful to almost do a character study on each stakeholder. Find what motivates them. Find how you would act if you were in their shoes with their constraints or their governing principles, in order to find the truth that each is likely to bring to the table, and then once doing that, come up with a solution that actually addresses the concerns of that community.
That's great. I mean, it's phenomenal what you're able to do with that and to put it into pieces to make it work. That recently in the news, I'm sure you've been following that AI is going to take over this industry and take over that industry. But I feel like these kind of elements of the truth that you're talking about and these elements of drama and theater, of course, I've been involved a little bit. I did some improv. I was involved with an improv troupe in the past. But being involved with See How They Run with Theater Under the Shell has opened my eyes to a whole new field that this could possibly be, in my feeling, the last industry or the last area where AI could ever take over. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I mean, again, if it's all about capturing truth, I don't understand how you can effectively do that with the AI that I know of. You may be able to get close, and perhaps some dramatic or media products are crap, so the AI could just as effectively produce crap. But with any luck, AI will make crap so easy to make and have such a supply of it that the demand shifts from that to quality. And in the end state is where human collaboration is held to a higher standard, and the things that we share with each other mean more, contain more truth.
And in terms of some of the recent events with the Actors Guild and some of the writers maybe being taken over by AI and having other sources to write the plays and write the scripts, What do you think about that? Is that likely at all to actually happen?
I think that the media management executives and the writers and the actors are stakeholders in a complex problem, which is how to most effectively make and share media. And it appears to me that they are not at the table with one another. And if something is to happen that is truly good for the community, they have to come together somehow. I hope that happens, so that all the talent we have available is put on making the best media possible.
And it feels like there's such an emotional component of theater and drama that when you're out performing or when Joyce is directing, that it really connects to the human psyche, and it connects human psychology of who we are as humans. That can computers do this? I mean, maybe that's still quite a few years down the road.
Perhaps. I don't know. If the point is to share a moment and an emotion, to make that connection, I don't see AI being able to truly do that any more than a hug from a Dell laptop brings comfort when you're when a relative has passed.
Yeah, and for some people there might be some level of comfort, but I totally get what you're saying. And I'm really excited to hear more about your thoughts for See How They Run. It's a show that you are the star of a few different people on the show. Do you want to share a little bit about who you are on the show, your role, and a little bit more?
Okay, first, I am not the star. There's no way. I have way fewer lines. I am a character amongst a really, really talented cast and crew. I'm really privileged to be able to work with them. And it's a farce. It's ridiculous. It's just over the top. Everything is big.
If I understand correctly, farce is funnier than comedy. Is that kind of how it's portrayed?
The way that I'm rolling it around in my head, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but let's, a sitcom is comedy. Early Jim Carrey is farce, right? Saturday Night Live, In Living Color skits, things like that. That's farce. Again, just ridiculous.
Over the top, funny, hilarious, stuff you wouldn't believe happening, things being said.
It makes no sense, and it doesn't need to. It's still a good time.
And it's still a good time because people are laughing, they're enjoying themselves, and what better medicine is there than laughter at the end of the day?
Yeah. I hope that it's the overall health of the entire county improves as a result of our show.
At least a little bit. There'll be definite improvements for sure. And what better way to perform it, too? I think down at McCook's Beach in Niantic, there's the little theater under the shell, is a theater under the stars, they call it, the shell there, and people can bring their blankets. I think it's a $20 maybe donation, optional. People can come, bring their friends, bring some food, something to drink, and just have a really good evening out in the community. And, of course, laughing, that's a great thing for the community and our health, but also community building, being with friends, being with neighbors, going and enjoying and appreciating local art and culture. That's really important, too.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. So you're Clive in the show, right?
Yes, I am Corporal Clive Winton, who is an American, which is good.
Because it's a British show, so most people have a British accent, except Clive.
Except Clive, which is good, because my American accent's pretty good. Much better than my British accent. So in a way, I feel like I'm able to play the character that I want to in life, but have to restrain. I can do all the physical, crazy comedy and I don't know. I'm having such a good time. It's great.
I love it after some of the practices that you say, hey, who wants to go for a run? Because throughout the couple hours that you're practicing, you're running, I don't know, a few miles just all over the place on the stage. You are an active character on this show.
I'm a very active character. A lot of folks that I work with have a special name for that activity. They call it Lenergy.
Lenergy.
Yeah, which a term that has no definition and yet needs none.
Well, you're there, you're running around, you're singing, you're dancing, you're doing all these different actions on the stage. It's quite an eventful person that you're playing there.
He's not boring.
No.
No.
What element do you think, maybe there's many, that you said that it's someone you wish you could be or play in real life, but you have to kind of restrain yourself?
Yeah.
You don't have to give away too much of the show. People are anticipating that, but if you want to share a little bit on that.
The loudness, mostly. The times when I want to scream that I can't.
And you get to scream on the show.
I get to lose it.
Just completely be open, lose it.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
And how are you getting along with other cast members? You said it's an amazing cast so far.
Oh yeah, everyone's awesome. I mean, I feel like I'm getting along with them. It's entirely possible that to some I'm really annoying, and I just lack the insight to know that. I hope not, because I really like everybody. But for those of you who have been ticked, sorry.
Well, one thing that I love seeing is, as a crew member on the show, it feels like every performance, every practice that we have, we're just kind of meshing and gelling a little bit more each time. Of course, it's maybe, the first day you go on someone, it's, awkward moments and you don't know what's going on. But now we're, in week 3 or 4 of practicing, and people are starting to have different interactions where it feels natural and they're really making it work.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see from the crew side. And I hope that you all are feeling that from the acting side as well.
It is really cool to watch come together, and I feel the same. I feel that we're putting all the blocks in place, and it's building and building into something that's going to be enjoyable.
One challenge I foresee, I don't have to deal with this so much, I'm on the crew side, you're on the acting side, is memorizing all those words. So I'm sure our viewers would love to hear, do you have a trick? Do you have a way to do this? What's your thought process on that?
How do I learn
because
lines?
It's about an hour, 2-hour show. So you have a lot of lines.
I tend to record myself and do all the voices for a particular scene that I'm in, and then load it to my phone, play it in my car, and play it on headphones as I fold laundry or mow the lawn or commute or stuff like that. And just through repetition and recitation, I get it eventually. That and a combination of Joyce yelling at me, whips, threats of stabs. That's how I get it done.
That helps a little
bit
too.
It does.
I think it's amazing thinking about it from the brain perspective of just the muscle memory, doing it over and over again, that each night we're doing it maybe 2 or 3 times, breaking it down into different chunks, different sections. But then it's a whole nother game of homework of what you said, taking it home, listening to it all the time. So excited to see that. And any big challenges that you're facing on the show?
Just time management. I want to be the world's best husband and father, and an employee and actor, and fitting it all together with only 24 hours in a day is a challenge. It's a challenge, but it's worth doing because it's just so much fun.
Yeah, and we all feel you're fun when you're out performing and practicing, and that emanates to all the different people who are there as well on the crew, on the acting side. So definitely grateful for the Lenergy and all that you provide for that. And do know that your time is limited. So is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers about what's coming up on See How They Run?
Absolutely
Other
not.
than be there, be square.
I don't want to reveal a thing other than it's going to be great and everyone should come out. Everyone. All 275,000 people in the county, come on out.
Come on out, come check out, see how they run at the end of July and into August. So, Len, thank you so much for your time and being a special guest on our show today.
Thank you.